ABC7 Eyewitness News at 7 starts streaming now.
Good morning, everybody. Top of the hour. I'm Terrell Brown.
And I'm Val Warner. Good to be with you. Let's get right to Tracy because you have the four-letter word that starts with a S and ends with a W, not the other one.
Starts with the O.
Snow? Did I not say that
I'm
right?
way off today, so no, you said it just fine.
Because you're talking about it for the weekend, right?
I am. Yes, absolutely. I just didn't know. Okay. All right. Oh, gosh, I think I have a headache. Anyway, this morning, Chicago, we are seeing snow and some flurries around the area, really not amounting to very much, however. Temperatures basically around freezing right now. Roz?
We are looking at traffic building on all of the expressways. I was kind of following Chopper, which is why I'm not in the studio yet, but here I come. We also have a stall that's causing some big delays on the northbound tri-state at Willow Springs Road. It's blocking a lane, but I want to go up in the air with Chopper 7. I was just talking to them, and they're following the fire department along I-57. They're north of 147th, and I'm not quite sure what they're looking for, but obviously we've got several emergency vehicles and we're hearing chatter on the scanner, so we'll let you know once they get to where they are headed and what they find. Val and Terrell.
All righty, Ross, thank you so much. Want to get to the race for Chicago mayor this morning. All 9 candidates in the race faced off head-to-head last night in a debate right here on ABC7.
Yeah, they faced off for an hour and a half on everything from safety to affordable housing. Jessica D'Onofrio joins us with the message that each politician had for voters. Jess.
Val and Terrell, the mayor faced very stiff criticism, especially when it came to crime, but she urged voters to stick with her for a second term. The 90-minute debate focusing on a wide range of issues.
Many of us thought that this administration would raise the bar, but all we've seen is raise bridges, an attempt to raise taxes, and a raise murder rate.
Mayor Lightfoot under fire from her 8 mayoral challengers, especially on the issue of crime.
There's an 85% chance that you can get away with murder and not be convicted. It has emboldened criminals.
I'm definitely pro-policeman, meaning taking some of the strict rules and regulation off the police officer so they can do their job.
I recognize that people in the city don't feel safe. So we've got to keep working on the strategy that we know is making progress.
The mayor citing a decrease in shootings from last year and a dramatic increase in guns recovered. But violent crime and theft is up from when she took office in 2019.
How do we continue to allow the mayor to lie about the numbers? We are not down when it comes to before her administration started.
Chicago's in a leadership crisis. Every single problem that we're experiencing, from the escalating crime to individuals leaving our school system in record numbers, is a product of bad decisions from the 5th floor.
During the wide-ranging 90-minute debate, the candidates offered ideas on how to help struggling small businesses, how to provide resources for migrants without shortchanging residents, and encourage investment in affordable housing.
We have to make sure that we're not just simply making affordable housing more accessible, but we also have to make sure that we commit to public housing and pathway to home ownership.
We have lots where you can build affordably, really affordably, and use that same density bonus money to invest in our neighborhoods that are really seeing no investment whatsoever.
The candidates were also asked about the city's growing youth mental health crisis.
We need to bring professionals like clinicians into the school to help deal with the mental health insecurities that our kids have.
Election day is February 28th, but you do have the option to vote early. Next Thursday, the early voting super site in the Loop on Clark and Lake will open its doors, along with the site at 69 West Washington. Val?
All right, Jess, thank you. Now, if you missed the full debate, you can watch it on ABC7 on Sunday night beginning at 10:30. We will also have the video posted on our website, ABC7Chicago.com.
A 12-year-old boy is recovering right now. He was shot on the city's south side overnight.
He was grazed by a bullet when a man's gun went off inside of a gas station in the Calumet Heights neighborhood. The child was rushed to Comer Children's Hospital. Mir Kawash is there and joins us live. Mir.
Val Terrell, good morning. The good news is we're told that the 12-year-old boy is doing okay here at Comer Children's Hospital, last listed in good condition after suffering a graze wound to his hand. Now, we do have some surveillance video of this entire incident at that gas station. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. You see the man inside there. His hand is in his pocket, and then all of a sudden a gun fires through the pants. We blurred the man's face since he has not been charged with a crime as of now. The boy was nearby when the gun went off. We froze the video of him falling out of the frame. The video goes on to show the man pick up the gun, put it back into his pocket. You see the jeans there torn from the discharge. We also see money from his pocket now scattered all over the floor and shredded. All of this happening around midnight inside a gas station on East 87th in Calumet Heights. Police say the man is related to that 12-year-old boy, and police have recovered that gun. So as of right now, police tell us they're questioning the relative, but they have not put him into custody and charges have not been filed. We'll see how that changes as the day goes on. But the good news, the boy doing okay, in good condition with that graze wound. There are some numbers that really show the extent of this violence among Chicago's youth. To start this year, that's 27 juveniles shot since January 1st, and 3 of them have unfortunately died from their injuries. Val, Terrell.
All right, Mayor, thank you. Well, a gunman has been shot and killed by police inside an Indiana Walmart. One other person was hurt. The gunfire was in Evansville. That's in the southern part of the state. Police responded to a late night call of an active shooter inside the store. The unidentified suspect fired several shots at officers as they chased him through the store. They eventually killed him.
Charges are now filed against an attempted robbery suspect. He was shot during a scuffle with an off-duty Chicago police officer. This happened Wednesday, 90th Street in the Brainerd neighborhood. Police say the off-duty officer saw someone being robbed, announced that she was an officer, and then got involved. There was a struggle for her gun, and then the suspect was shot. He was seriously hurt. That scuffle was caught in this surveillance video. Take a look, left-hand side of the screen. Levon Smith is charged with aggravated battery and attempted robbery. COPA is investigating the incident.
A downstate judge is expected to announce his ruling today involving Illinois ban on certain assault weapons. Governor Pritzker signed the law earlier this month. At least 3 lawsuits have been filed challenging the ban. Today, a judge may decide whether to issue a temporary restraining order that would stop enforcement of the law.
Today, there's a bargaining session scheduled with faculty members at the University of Illinois at Chicago. A strike there is now going into its 4th day. The union and university have not been able to reach an agreement on a contract. Base salary is a key sticking point. To the case against Alec Baldwin this morning, he's now facing manslaughter charges for the deadly shooting on the set of his movie Rust. Legal analysts say if this case goes to trial, prosecutors do face an uphill battle. Here's ABC's Andrew Dimbert.
The felony criminal charges prosecutors are pursuing against Alec Baldwin could result in the actor spending 5 years in prison if he's convicted.
Alec Baldwin and the armorer here, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, have had the book thrown at them.
The district attorney in New Mexico says Baldwin and the film's armorer, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, will each face 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter for the deadly shooting on the set of Rust. Baldwin's prop gun somehow fired a live bullet, killing cinematographer Helena Hutchins and wounding the movie's director.
They were not doing the things that they should have been doing in order to have a safety conscious and certainly with guns, a gun conscious movie set.
One of the involuntary manslaughter charges carries a penalty of anything from no jail time to 18 months. But prosecutors added what's called a firearm enhancement to the second charge.
They've said that's one possible charge, and another one that a jury could consider would be an involuntary manslaughter count, which involves more than just negligence.
Court documents show Gutierrez-Reed and Assistant Director Dave Halls handled the gun before Baldwin. Investigators say Halls, who struck a plea deal, said cold gun on the set, meaning no live rounds were being used. In an interview with George Stephanopoulos, Baldwin insisted he did not pull the trigger.
So you never pulled the trigger?
No.
But an FBI report found the gun could not have fired without pulling the trigger. In a new statement, Baldwin's lawyer says Mr. Baldwin had no reason to believe there was a live bullet in the gun or anywhere on the movie set. A lawyer for Gutierrez-Reed called the investigation flawed. The district attorney says a magistrate judge will now determine if there's enough evidence to move toward a trial.
Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
Authorities say 6 live rounds were found on that movie set.
And they have not determined how they got there.
Also today we're watching this. Police in South Suburban Dalton are hosting a steering wheel lock and gun giveaway. It's happening at the Just Ice Outdoor Skating Rink on Greenwood Road in Dalton from 5 until 6 p.m. The locks are being handed to any residents who wish to use them. City officials say the event is a response to a recent surge in car thefts and gun violence.
Also happening today, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will focus on Ukraine during a visit to Chicago. He will visit with refugees and tour the Ukrainian Institute of Modern Art. Blinken will end his visit with the podcast taping for the University of Chicago's Institute of Politics.
The ribbon cutting is happening later on today for the new Poder Center to help Spanish-speaking immigrants as they adapt to life in Chicago. The headquarters for the nonprofit is right here, as you see it, the southwest side, Gage Park on West 55th Street. This is where Poder will help Hispanic immigrants develop job skills and assimilate in their new country. Mayor Lightfoot is set to be at the ceremony at 10 a.m. this morning. Poder refers to power in Spanish.
Chicago Restaurant Week is back. A crowd gathered for the festivities last night at the First Bites Bash at the Field Museum. The gala benefits the James Beard Foundation Scholarship Program starting today. Hundreds of restaurants across the city are offering special prefix menus. Lunch, breakfast, whatever, brunch, whatever you want.
I'm happy to see all those people, but I really want to see more of that food. I saw 2 clips and it was looking some kind of good. Hey, more information about Restaurant Week on our website, ABC7Chicago.com. I'm sure we got some good stuff here in Chicago to look for.
I can't wait. Now, this is right up my alley.
Live and local news, just getting started, streaming out loud this morning. Coming up, the opening of the ice castles in Geneva has been pushed back. We'll have when you will finally be able to see them on the way.
And first, Tracy's got your AccuWeather forecast and a chance for snow showers this weekend. Finally. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. It's wet outside now, but we have some mild winter. We've had some mild winter. It's not good news for a popular tourist attraction, though, in Wisconsin. The opening for the ice castles in Lake Geneva has been pushed back to February 3rd. They were supposed to open next week, but organizers haven't been able to get the ice together. So it's everywhere, Tracy, that the winter has been kind of mild.
And it's such a shame because this is a really, really cool thing. I've actually watched them get this together, and it's really, really neat and something really fun to see and experience. And they usually have a big snow sculpture event up in Lake Geneva too. And I'm wondering, is that going to be happening in the coming month? Well, what did happen on this date back in 1985? We set our all-time record low, 27 degrees below zero. Our average low today is in the teens. So far, this whole month, we have not even had a temperature drop into the teens. So we have overcast skies right now. We have wind chills this morning in the teens, lower 20s around the area. I think we can bank on these wind chills being kind of on the colder side of things most of the day today. We've had light snow showers and flurries throughout much of the morning. This is kind of floating around a departing system, but there is another system that's coming our way here that will bring us snow later tomorrow evening and into early Sunday. So how much are we talking? Well, I know there are some who would probably like to go do some sled riding. I don't think it's going to be enough for that. I think we'll get a fresh dusting, maybe up to an inch of accumulation according to 2 different models that we're looking at. But right now out at O'Hare, we do have 33 degrees. We have some flurries out at the big airport. Roz?
We've got more traffic out there, and we've got a couple new problems, but overall, it's manageable on the roads. We're looking at maybe between 30 and 40-minute travel times. We are still recovering from this crash on the Ryan inbound near 75th because both the Ford and I-57 are backed up south of 130th, so it's going to take a little bit longer to get to the Dan Ryan. We have this stall northbound on the Tri-State near Willow Springs Road. They've got it off to the shoulder, but the backup is still there. It starts south of 95th Street. And then we've got one suburban crash in Bloomingdale at Army Trail and Butterfield. It's still causing delays, but they should have it out of there momentarily. Val and Terrell.
All right, Roz, thank you. Well, this morning, President Joe Biden is addressing the classified documents found at his private home and office for the first time since a special counsel was appointed to look into the case. Now, this comes as House Republicans are ramping up their own investigations. ABC's Jay O'Brien joins us live from D.C. with the very latest. Jay.
Val, good morning. President Biden telling reporters he has no regrets and he believes an investigation into these documents will find there's no there.
We found a handful of documents were filed in the wrong place.
For the first time since a special counsel was appointed to look into the classified documents found at his home and office, President Biden addressing the investigation while surveying storm damage in California.
We have a serious problem here we're talking about what's going on, and the American people don't quite understand why you don't ask me questions about that. I think you're going to find there's nothing there. I have no regrets. I'm following what the lawyers have told me they want me to do. It's exactly what we're doing. There's no there. Thank you.
The president's comments in line with what his White House is saying, promising to cooperate with newly appointed special counsel Robert Hur's investigation. But the administration also blasting Republican-led inquiries into the documents in Congress as politically motivated.
Are you satisfied with the way your team is handling the documents?
House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer now zeroing in on the Penn Biden Center, the office in Washington where the first pages of classified documents were discovered. The committee probing their donors and requesting the center's visitors logs. Republicans also vowing to look into the administration's transparency and why the initial discovery of classified documents in November was first made public in January after the midterm elections.
This is why there's such hypocrisy behind the Bidens once again, something big that comes forward prior to an election where they kind of keep it quiet, where the American public could actually have a say.
Now, the White House is hitting back, accusing Republicans of showing little interest in investigating the reams of classified documents that were seized from former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago. There's also a special counsel in that case, and they're proceeding with their investigation. Val?
All right, Jay, thank you. Well, the Treasury Department says it is starting to extraordinary measures to keep the government fully funded for the next few months. Now, this after the United States hit its debt ceiling today of $31.4 trillion. Economists warn that millions of Americans could lose their jobs. Others may have their government benefits like Social Security, Medicare, and military salaries stopped and tax refunds delayed. House Republicans are drafting a plan that would require the Biden administration to prioritize paying back certain debts over others. But that proposal would have to get approval from a Democratic-controlled Senate.
There seems to be no willingness on either side to come to the tables and negotiate.
Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is encouraging lawmakers to act quickly before the nation goes into default this summer. Well, still to stream this morning, a lot of important topics tackled in the Chicago mayoral debate. ABC7 political analyst Laura Washington joins us to talk more about it at 7:30.
Eyewitness News, streaming at 7, continues after a break.
Welcome back. That's consumer investigator Jason Knowles right there. Spoke to high school students at De La Salle Institute. The 11th and 12th graders asked about future careers in journalism and how Jason tracks down his stories, exposing scams and ripoffs.
Look at that. We got some future I-Team members in the making right there at De La Salle.
Go ahead.
No, right now we're going to link up with our Good Morning America viewers. Tanya Babbage is going to have a news update, and let's figure out what else we're going to do.
Yeah. So when we come back, one Chicago woman is pushing through her pain and something to dance about today. We'll get into that after this.
Now, an update from ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Good morning. It's 7:23. I'm Tanya Babbage. We are following breaking news from the South Side, where a 12-year-old has been grazed by a bullet in a shooting. Surveillance video shows a man reaching into his pocket and then firing a handgun. The boy was nearby when the shot was fired. We've frozen the video before he jumps out of frame. The man is then seen picking up the gun and putting it back into his pocket. The boy is in good condition at a hospital, and police are questioning the man, who we're told is related to the boy. Let's get a check of the ABC7 AccuWeather forecast. Here's meteorologist Tracy Butler.
Tanya, we've had primarily flurries, light snow showers in the area this morning. Had a couple reports of maybe some freezing drizzle around Valparaiso this morning, but it doesn't seem to be too widespread and fairly isolated. Temperatures at this moment are around freezing. They are not going to move much at all today, but the winds are moving pretty well out there, and that leads us to wind chills. And some of these wind chills are back in the upper teens, so you kind of need to prepare for that idea today. Tomorrow, blustery and cold yet again with lots of cloud cover. Saturday night into Sunday could bring us a fresh covering of some snow. Roz has traffic details to bring you after this.
Now's the time for a healthy start. So let's move. Let's rest and recharge. And put our health first. Let's be well. To do that, let's eat well. Breathe deep. Find joy in the little moments. And do what we love with who we love. Together, let's live well. Advocate Aurora Health.
Welcome back, everybody. We start with a delay on Indiana's South Shore. Now, they are not being allowed to pass through the Hegwish station on the Illinois side because of police activity next to the Metro tracks. We're trying to figure out if this is affecting Metro Electric as well, but for now, it's specifically affecting the South Shore train, so expect some delays there. The delays on the expressways are not that bad, 30 to 35 minutes. That's going to be the average travel time. And one crash up in the burbs. This is in Wadsworth, at Wadsworth Road, just east of Delaney Road. Be careful through there.
All right, 33 degrees, so chilly out there this morning. Got some flurries and it's damp, and got some snow to talk about this weekend. Tracy will get into that in just a little bit. But we got something to dance about.
Yeah, let's forget talking about all that other stuff right now. Terrell, who do we have shaking the tail feather this morning?
Shake it. Cassandra Anderson from Chicago.
This is the cuff it.
Is that it? Because I'm like, what's this move that everybody's doing?
Oh my, how do you not? I asked you to do this with me when it first broke. You don't remember I sent it to you?
I do remember that.
Let's do this. But it's old now.
Okay, got it.
But Cassandra, it's not old because you're doing it.
Because you got it.
Yeah.
And you're killing it too.
She just had some free time and was feeling herself even though she was in some pain. Oh, you danced your pain away. We hope, Cassandra.
It doesn't look like you're in pain in this video though, Cassandra.
You know what? Music
doesn't
and dancing is so good for the soul when you are having a day.
Yep.
Just dance it away. Oh, when you're having a day, dance it away.
Get away, I like that.
And guess what? We want to see more of your videos. Grab your phone and scan the QR code on your screen.
Then upload the video, make sure the music's playing in the background. We've got everything else you need to know right there. And if your video's picked, you'll see it during the morning show, right?
That's okay. When you turned me down, I asked Jabba to do it.
Did he do it?
Yeah, of course he did it with me. He's the dancing machine.
Oh, I didn't know that about him.
Oh, yeah.
I knew about Zoe. I didn't know about
No, yeah. Well, everybody except for Max. He's not going. He is not. All right, coming up this morning, a check on today's top stories, along with a weather and traffic update from Tracy and Roz.
Yeah, we'll have that for you. Hang on. More news in 90 seconds.
You're watching ABC7 Eyewitness News at 7, streaming live now.
Let's get a quick look at stories that we're watching for you today. A 12-year-old boy is recovering right now. He was grazed by a bullet on Chicago's South Side. Police say he was hit in the hand when a man's gun accidentally went off inside a gas station in Calumet Heights. That shooting was caught on surveillance video. You might find this jarring to watch. In the video, we see a man putting his hand into his pocket, and then all of a sudden, a gun fires in his pants. And we've blurred the man's face since he has not been charged with any crime. The boy was nearby when the gun went off. We've frozen the video of him falling out of frame. I know you're not seeing any of this, and as I'm explaining it to you. But I'll keep going here. So as the video continues, we see the man pick up the gun. He puts it back in his pocket. His jeans are torn from that discharge. We also see money from his pocket scattered on the floor and shredded. The boy was taken to Comer Children's Hospital. Since we've last checked, he is in good condition.
All 9 Chicago mayoral candidates took part in a debate last night at ABC7. Much of the talk focused on crime. Now, you can watch the full debate on our website, ABC7Chicago.com. It also will air Sunday night at 10:30. ABC7 political analyst Laura Washington will join us to talk about the debate in just a few minutes.
And Chicago Restaurant Week is back. Look at that crowd out there at the Field Museum. The first Bites Bash last night. The gala benefits the James Beard Foundation Scholarship Program. Starting today, hundreds of restaurants across the city are offering special prefix menus.
Wow, that was a lot of people out on a Thursday night.
Packed. That's what food will do. Because if I could be there, I would have been there too.
My invite must have got lost in the mail.
Hey, what happened?
I don't know.
Hey, everybody, I'm Terrell Brown.
And I'm Val Warner. We're going to check with Tracy right now because right now that shot looks fine. It looks pretty, a little normal. But Tracy, what are we in store for today and the rest of the weekend?
Well, Val, I'm glad you asked because we do have kind of the wet conditions around the area this morning. And most of what we have observed this morning has been light snow, flurries. There have even been a couple reports of a little isolated freezing drizzle. Currently, the numbers, it's 30 in McHenry, 32 Valparaiso, 32 in Bradley, 31 degrees, that temperature in Yorkville. Concentrate on these wind chills if you're headed outside this morning because it feels like it's back in the lower end of the 20s in many cases, even a couple of spots with wind chills that are in the teens. Today, the numbers are not going to move much at all. Temperatures hovering around freezing. Wind chills probably hovering around the lower 20s. I do have some snow chances that are going to build here probably late tomorrow. More on that in my next report. Roz?
We still have these delays for commuters in northwest Indiana on the South Shoreline because the trains are not being allowed to pass through the Hegewisch station on the Illinois side due to police activity. And I'm checking with Metra. Don't believe this is affecting the Metra Electric, but we're still making phone calls. So we're trying to gather that information as quickly as possible. On the expressways, 35 minutes is the average travel time, which is not that bad. But remember, it is a Friday. A lot of folks work from home, take a 3-day weekend, so they're not out on the roads. We have one new suburban crash in Bartlett, Route 25, and Kenyon Road. Val and Terrell.
All right, Roz, thank you. Now to last night's mayoral debate. All 9 Chicago mayoral candidates faced off on big issues concerning voters last night.
Yeah, ABC7 political analyst Laura Washington is here to talk more about it. Laura, good to see you again.
Good morning.
What did you think overall?
Overall, I thought it was a fairly civil debate. There was some back and forth and some exchanges, but there was a lot of issues that got put on the table, public policy issues, and not just crime and public safety. You hear a lot of talk about that, but there are so many other important things and challenges the city is facing, and there was a good discussion about that.
Were you surprised by the lack of fireworks? Because I think we were thinking it was going to be more than what it was.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of beating up on Lori Lightfoot. I think every other candidate, all other 8 candidates had something to say negative about her.
Yeah.
But I think
Which you predicted
Of course.
yesterday.
Well, she's the incumbent.
Right.
So she's going to be, good or bad, she's going to have to be on the defensive. But I think there are a lot of people there that really, this is the first time a lot of people got to be in front of the big cameras, especially the people who are not as well known. So they wanted to get a chance to put their records out and make their points of view rather than, talking about the other candidates.
Yeah, you said they covered a whole lot of ground. Was there any topic or topics that really caught your attention?
Well, there was a big question about opioid use and the fact that there's been so many deaths from that. That's one of those undercovered stories you don't hear a lot about, the drug problems in our communities. And so I thought there was a really good discussion. Mental health care on all levels. An interesting thing was a lot of the issues that we're facing in our city seem to keep coming back to public safety and crime, whether it's downtown business development, whether it's keeping businesses in the city, whether it's making sure that people feel safe, public transportation. They all came back to safety.
Yeah.
Are you anticipating a runoff?
Oh, yes. Now, remember the last 2 elections, when Rahm Emanuel ran against Chuy Garcia, that was a runoff. And the previous, and the most recent one was Lori Lightfoot and Tony Preckwinkle. You have to get 50% plus 1 more vote to avoid a runoff. And right now the polls have the top contenders in the 20%, 15% range.
Right.
That's pretty far away from 50%. So I don't see a possibility of anybody being able to to get over that hump to 50%,
Right.
at least this time around.
And because you have so many candidates, right? So that's what, I mean, it's going to be virtually impossible.
And a lot of them are fighting over the same ground. You know, Dewey Garcia is fighting for the progressive vote with Lori Lightfoot and with Brandon Johnson. You've got 7 black candidates in the race out of 9 that are going to be fighting for the African American vote. So there's just a lot of and
think about that.
Not a lot of time. We've got less than 5 weeks left till this first round. So what I'm concerned about is people aren't even really aware of that yet. February 28th.
Right. Yeah, it's around the corner.
Yeah, and early voting is starting soon as well.
Were you going to ask something? Because I do have one other
Go
question.
ahead. No, yeah.
You know, when I hear you on the news and your analysts and when I watch these debates, the question that always comes to my mind is that, and this is where I want your thoughts, one person can't fix the problem, right? So like, you know, like you said, they were beating up on Mayor Lori Lightfoot about crime. Well, then that happened to Rahm Emanuel. Every mayor who's in the seat, right? One person can't fix the crime.
Absolutely.
Can they? So like,
not just the crime, but all the other challenges we have in the city, especially coming out of COVID, coming out of the fact that we're going to be getting less and less federal help than we were getting for the last 2 years. Well, I think one of the things that people talk a lot about, a lot of the candidates talk a lot about, is collaboration. You need to have a good relationship with the General Assembly. You need to have a good relationship with the governor. You need to have a good relationship with the Cook County Board and with Tony Preckwinkle, because there's a lot of problems and you need to bring the resources together to get them solved.
Yeah. Good question.
Yeah, you have to be able, who's that person
that can
bridge
get
all the gaps,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
And fix everything. That's what they were all promising last
And to
night.
do, exactly.
That's not going to happen.
Right.
Well, and that's what they all do. But that's what I'm saying.
It's
Like,
the
this
game.
is just a rerun. It's the game.
It's the
They
game.
always say, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And then when the person gets into office, everybody has high hopes, and then that doesn't happen.
Right, and then the candidate, or the person in office gets accused of reneging on their promises.
Yeah.
You know, running for office and being in office, sitting in that seat on the 5th floor of City Hall, are two very different things.
Based on what we've seen from these candidates, are there any sleepers, people that we didn't maybe think that could be at the top or could be in the top 2?
Or who showed up well last night.
Or showed up, right, that did well.
I think one of them is Brandon Johnson, who, you know, people are counting him out because he doesn't have very high name recognition, but he has a huge amount of support from the unions. He has money, and I thought he came off as probably the most personable person last night. Had some really funny quips. He had a sense of humor. Talked about his own personal history, which was very compelling. So I would keep a close eye on him. And you know, Willie Wilson. Willie Wilson is, you know, he has a pretty high name recognition. I don't know that he will get into the runoff, but he will get a significant portion of the vote.
Wow.
People like him.
They do.
He's down to earth. He's no nonsense. He says what he really believes, whether or not it's politically correct.
And he's built in like he is a success story.
Yes.
Right?
Right. And remember Donald Trump? That's one reason he got elected.
Yeah, that's true.
Successful
Right.
businessman.
Speaking of business and money, the one thing that I always kind of keep an eye on, especially in debates, taxes. Did that come up last night? Are they going up? Is it going down? Did anybody promise anything?
Candidates were all asked about that, and they all refrained from saying they would raise taxes. Roderick Sawyer, the alderman, was the only one that said that he wouldn't rule it out. In the meantime, they're talking about spending all this money. They want to add new programs. They want to bring on new services, but there wasn't a lot of talk about how they were going to pay for it. What a surprise.
Yep, there it is. Laura Washington, boy, I love this couch talk with you. We got to do this more often.
Right.
We get a lot done.
Yeah, we sure can. Appreciate it. If you missed the full debate, you can watch it on our website. Also on air, too, ABC7 Sunday night beginning at 10:30. And, of course, the video is on our website, ABC7Chicago.com.
All right, we're back with more news in 90 seconds.
Good morning to you. Watching the radar, continuing to spot flurries, light snow showers around the area this morning. I'm watching the temperatures, though they're not going to go much of anywhere today. Just stay steady right around freezing. The wind chills, however, really need to focus on those because we do have gusty winds still around the area this morning. We have many locations with wind chills down around 20 degrees. Today, the temperatures, again, not much movement with those. I think we have a cloud cover that will be persistent throughout the day. Now, tomorrow, our snow chances are going to be increasing much later in the evening. I would still say probably after about 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. Roz?
We are looking at travel times just kind of fluctuating. Now they're between 35 and 45 minutes on most of the inbound trips between the tri-state and downtown. We also have a couple things going on off the expressways in St. Charles. We've got all this police activity at 9th and State. In fact, Chopper 7's over it. It looks like a 3 to 4 car crash in this area, and a lot of police presence, not only from local police, but Kane County Sheriff. They're on the scene too, everywhere along State Street between 7th and 9th. So they're asking folks to avoid that area for the time being. So we come back to the maps. We're looking at a crash in Park Ridge, Cumberland, and Peterson, and an update on the South Shore trains. They are once again being allowed to go through the Hegwish station on the Illinois side. All the police activity there has wrapped up. Val and Terrell, back to you.
All right, Roz, thank you. Advocate Healthcare recently named its inaugural Nurse Leader of the Year. Oh, Daniel Hazlitt is a registered nurse and manager in the emergency department of Advocate Sherman Hospital in Elgin. 240 people across Illinois and Wisconsin were nominated for the new award. And guess who joins us right now? Nurse of the Year, Daniel Hazlitt. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you too, Val.
First of all, thank you so much for your service. You know, being a nurse or healthcare provider is a selfless job to be able to help people in their most desperate time of need. So kudos to you. What was your initial reaction to receiving Advocate Healthcare's Nurse Leader of the Award? This is the first one, and you got it.
Yeah, it was overwhelming, to say the least. You know, I was being told that I was presenting a project to Mary Beth Kingston, our chief nursing officer for all of Advocate, and the rest of the chief nurses. And when I went to present, they paused, and Mary Beth Kingston got on and announced that I had been recognized as the winner of the Nurse Leader of the Year. I usually have a lot to say, and in that moment, I was a loss for words. It was really a great moment in my career, and I was extremely proud to be acknowledged that way from my team and my facility. So, yeah, it was overwhelming.
You were speechless. Looked like you got it. I'm looking at the video right now. They gave you a jersey with your name on it. You're number one. You got a hat. What's this
cool bat?
Oh, yep. There's your cool bat. Oh, I love it. What does this award mean to you?
Oh, the award itself, it means so much. Just to see nurses be acknowledged in this way by a hospital system that supports us, the leaders, our teams, people that come to work, like you said, selflessly every day to provide care to strangers, other people's families. So being able to bring this back to my department and the Elgin area, it's a huge honor. And I'm so thankful to be part of that.
Tell me a little bit more about your work, Daniel, there at the emergency department at Advocate.
So I am a clinical manager. Typically, you would catch me in scrubs, but today I figured I'd put a nice tie and shirt on for you, Val. And I work closely with my team, providing care to about 60,000 patients last year. That was 60,000 opportunities to impact a family, a person in such a positive way. We provide care across the lifespan. So the team here is, second to none. They're an excellent group of people, and I'm really proud to be their leader and work with them every day.
Well, it sounds like they're pretty proud that you are their leader. Thank you, Daniel Hazlitt, for waking up with us this morning, and congratulations again on your award.
Thank you, Val. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. When we come back, it is Festival Friday, and Roz is helping us make the most of our weekend with a look at some major events happening across our area. We'll be right back.
Eyewitness News streaming at 7 continues after a break.
So we are working. Do I need to slide over?
Come on over.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
So we're working towards the weekend. Friday is here.
The weekend is here, so let's get right to it with the Festival Friday check-in with Roz. Roz?
Hey, and we've got a lot going on, even though it's January. So Val and Terrell, who said puppets are just for kids? Certainly not me, and certainly not the Chicago International Puppet Theater. Their festival is underway with more than 100 performances at venues all over Chicago. 10 countries are represented in the festival, which also features workshops. It runs through January 29th. Could certainly dance to that. Disney on Ice is back in town at the Allstate Arena in Rosemont. It features magical adventures from two wildly popular animated films, Frozen and Encanto. Enjoy your favorite songs, world-class skating, and aerial acrobatics. This one you can do with your furry friend or furry friends. Sunday is the next dog admission day at the Morton Arboretum. You do need advance reservation, and it is $5 extra per dog. You must stay on the trails, but so worth it. And Polar Adventure Days will be held tomorrow in Northerly Island, whether or not there's snow. From noon until 3, you can see Siberian Husky sleds. You'll meet the birds of prey and enjoy storytelling with hot cocoa. Admission is free. And the Greater Chicago RV Show is today through Sunday at the Schaumburg Convention Center. If you're ready to take that driving trip, perhaps to a national park, this show has the latest makes and models of RVs from all the top manufacturers. Val and Terrell, we were talking about this yesterday. Driving to Yellowstone with a camper, one of the coolest vacations I've ever done. And after I did that the next year, we drove up to the Rockies and a bunch of national parks in Utah with a camper.
Yeah.
I've never done anything like that, Roz.
Seems a little
It's so
scary,
awesome.
Too.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
It is.
I'm like.
Can anybody drive an RV?
Well,
you need a special.
we rented the camper. We didn't have an RV. We rented the camper.
Oh,
we hooked it on my husband's pickup truck. But the person we rented it from came over and gave us like a 2-hour tutorial.
There you go.
Okay, got it.
For my husband.
Right, not you. You're like, I'm just getting in.
That is right.
I'm going for the ride. Thanks, Roz. ABC7 Eyewitness News continues streaming out loud after the break. We're back in 90 seconds.
Welcome back to the Talkers this morning.
That's right. We are remembering one of the world's most talented musicians of the folk rock era.
Yeah, David Crosby died at the age of 91. He left behind a legacy that's influenced generations of singers and songwriters.
And as ABC's Will Gans reports, the musician's family released a statement overnight saying the rock and roll legend has passed away after a long illness.
Yeah, adding his legacy will live on through his music.
The day before he died, David Crosby tweeted about heaven. I heard the place is overrated, cloudy, but Crosby was never known for his subtlety.
Do you ever wonder why you are still alive? I don't know. No idea, man.
Crosby first taking the world by storm with his band The Byrds in 1965. The son of an Academy Award-winning cinematographer, David Crosby dropped out of Santa Barbara City College to pursue music in Los Angeles, which is where he formed the Byrds.
A time for peace, I swear it's not too late.
In 1969, his new group, Crosby, Stills and Nash, would drop their first album.
Don't let the past remind us of what we are not now.
That same year, they'd add Neil Young to the group.
We have all been here before.
Decades of touring their biggest hits. Crosby battled cocaine and heroin addictions through the mid-1980s.
I've had 3 heart attacks. I've got 8 stents in my heart.
In 1986, he served 5 months in prison, which he said helped him finally get clean. Crosby went on to dabble in acting on the small screen in Roseanne.
And the Wrecking Ballers for crawling out of last place for the first time in 3 years! There's someone worse than us! There's someone worse than us!
And on the big screen in Hook. This morning, his musical peers remembering the late legend. Carole King writing, "My old friend David is gone, but he left us with his words, his music, and his beautiful voice."
And Stephen Stills sharing a statement overnight saying of Crosby, quote, "He was without question a giant of a musician, and his harmonic sensibilities were nothing short of genius, the glue that held us together as our vocals soared like Icarus towards the sun." David Crosby is survived by his wife Jan and son Django. He was 81 years old. Will Gans, ABC News, New York.
Wow.
Yeah, certainly a legacy.
Absolutely.
Very
Absolutely.
influential.
And clearly from that piece, we learned a lot more about him too.
Absolutely.
All right, switching gears before we go, a Hollywood star joined TikTok last night. Take a look.
Hi. This is my first TikTok, and I was trying to think of something cool to do, and I think I'm just going to do a poem that I like. Don't be fooled by the rocks that I got. I'm still Jenny. Jenny from the block.
I like that. I really, really like that.
I was not expecting that.
Oh, that's amazing.
That was a good one.
Jennifer Coolidge launched her own TikTok account with the help of J-Lo. And then as of 6 a.m., she had more than 240. That's it?
That's it, 240?
She's J-Lo in her.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. It is
that
TikTok.
can't be right.
Maybe it's
240,000.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we're out of time, everybody. That's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for watching Eyewitness News at 7 a.m. We'll hear from Tracy, Roz, and Tanya.
Now, an update from ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Good morning, everybody. 7:56. I'm Terrell Brown. We're watching this today. A downstate judge is expected to rule on the legality of Illinois' new law banning certain assault weapons. The judge could decide whether to issue a temporary restraining order that would stop enforcement of that law. Governor Pritzker signed the law earlier this month. Since then, at least 3 lawsuits have been filed challenging the ban. Hang on, we'll check weather and traffic coming up next.